Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight. As I mentioned before, the report is Dr. Alaa. Khalifa, thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. As we did see in the past report, the new Alamein city to be constructing such a relatively new city, because we have seen tens of new cities all over Egypt. New Mansoura, the new administrative capital, new Ismailia, and one of them is the new Alamein city. What's the importance in terms of promoting tourism to be having the new Alamein city, and at the same time having the new Alamein festival running until the end of August?
Promoting or developing Al Alamein city is a very strategic plan to position it as a premier tourist destination in the North Coast, to serve both local markets and international markets. So it's planned for the city to have a huge infrastructure built into it: hotels, luxury hotels, beachfront activities, lots of different things, with a total amount of investment that can reach almost 200 billion Egyptian pounds. Why we're doing this? In order to position it as a premier tourism destination. Why? In order to be a leading tourism destination on the North Coast. Reviving the North Coast that aims to have the city working all year around. And why specifically Al Alamein? For so many reasons. It's a city that has a historical value. It has also a archaeological value. It has a great beachfront capabilities. It has such a great location. So in my opinion, positioning or starting with the city Al Alamein to lead the North Coast investment, it's a good start to have encourages yacht tourism. It's a good start that encourages or promotes the southern Mediterranean in order to attract more Europeans to come to this side of the world, and also to attract a lot of Arab tourists from neighboring nations. And it started to become a trend right after COVID-19 have subsided. So in my opinion, Al Alamein, with all of its constructions, luxury hotels, new residential towers, service apartments, and beachfront facilities, we're reaching out to have this destination working all year around.
Doctor, you mentioned that the new Alamein city should be a tourist destination, not just for the Egyptians, not for the local markets, for the international markets. As a marketing expert, how can we be marketing the new Alamein, the Sahel, or the North Coast, of course, for the people living outside of Egypt?
Of course, including Al Alamein city and its and all of the different events that comes out of it, promoting it into its target audience, the audience that mostly appeal to Al Alamein city, is a very important. Putting a strategic marketing plan and a very well thought media plan that targets the branding of this city is the most important thing. As a matter of fact, what you and me are doing right now is marketing the city. So it's part of the media coverage, part of the PR, part of the media plan, part of the media buying that we have to do in order to include it within the national, global marketing strategy for Egypt that covers its destination. In the past, we used to cover Cairo, Luxor, Aswan, Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Marsa Alam, the Red Sea area. However, nowadays we are now covering Al Sahel, which is the North Coast, and definitely Al Alamein. And thanks to the modern and recent investment in areas such as Ras Al Hikmah and other neighboring areas, we are able now to put focus on these areas one more time. It is a great and amazing place that enjoys a wonderful climatic conditions throughout the year, especially during the summertime. It's a getaway for a lot of Egyptians. It's also a getaway for a lot of travelers from the Gulf area, and which is the highest number of Gulf travelers that come to Al Alamein and the neighboring areas, such as other touristic villages over there. Can be reached nearly to almost 2 million travelers out of total quota of travelers going to Egypt. However, it's a seasonal area
every year.
right now. Every year, it's a seasonal area right now, because it's a seasonal area, so it's only working during the summertime, right? When the fall comes in and winter, it becomes like a ghost town.
So how can we be transforming
what
this
we
to
are
that?
doing right now, this is where I'm telling you, what we are doing right now is that we are positioning and repositioning this brand one more time to work all year around. By doing what? By doing incentives during the winter, by having these different media coverage and music festivals that will be able to work as a magnet, by having lots of encouraging conferences to be held during the city during this time, by giving facilities, by giving incentives to a lot of interested people into the area to go and spend some more time, in order to have it, by also attracting and targeting audience in North Europe, because Northern Europe during the winter time is far more colder than Southern Mediterranean. So we can always attract those people to move in, to come in just for a week or 2 weeks in order to enjoy the north coast of Egypt. So in a way, we will be able to transform it from being a seasonal destination into an all year around or four-season destination.
You also mentioned that this is only the beginning. This is a good start for the vision that we could be having, or the strategy that we could be having for the future for the North Coast in general, because the new Alamein, it is kind of between Alexandria and Marsa Matruh, for example. So we have the whole coast that could be developed in the future. What is next, in your opinion? Do you anticipate having other new cities there, like Ras Al Hikma?
Of course, all of these news, when you focus on these new cities, every day you will have new emerging cities coming out. The history is repeating itself. When you focused on, for example, one day on Hurghada, then you had after that different areas, such as Sahla Hashish, such as Makari, such as Al Qusir, such as Marsa Alam. So the entire coastline has been promoted. Why you focus? You started the full development with one city. The same thing goes on for the North Coast. We had Marina before in the North Coast. We had different areas that have been well developed by the government. We built an airport to serve transportation to the area. We built highways in the last 5 years that are amazing highways that have shortened the distance between the major cities of Alexandria, Cairo, to the North Coast, which made it accessible to a lot of different audience. However, investing nearly $4 billion into the city by building all these skyscrapers and building beachfront activities is creating the right tourism product for the people who go there to spend 4 more room nights. So you are actually elongating the stay of any resident into this area. It's like a snowball. When you will develop a touristic destination, making it appealing to travelers, then new destinations, neighboring ones, will be developed accordingly. And this is exactly what happened in Alamein. We started with the entire area of the North Coast. We focused on developing the Alamein, and then Ras Al Hikma showed up, and then more other, Sidi Abdul Rahman and more other areas showed up. And the developers found appetite in these areas where they are able to develop them and invest so much into real estate, building real estate. And the thing is that the real estate has to be somehow being turned into touristic real estate. Not only people can buy holiday homes, but they can rent holiday homes, events and festivals, and whether musical festivals, whether it's a shopping festival, whether it's all types of festivities that can be carried out into this city will attract more people. People are getting more engaged. Now there is a better connectivity. Most of the airlines in the GCC area are flying out to Burj Al Arab airport. So we are making it accessible to everyone. We're making it 4 seasons, like all year around destination. I think what we are doing in Al Alamein right now is is a breakthrough in terms of developing a new phase of luxurious Egyptian tourism. And this should be 100% carried out into our marketing plan, into our national marketing strategy. We need to present the city as a luxurious city, as a city of facilities, as a city of all year round, as an excellent, pristine water, beachfront activities. That's how better climatic conditions.
Yes.
That's how we're going to be selling the area, and of course promoted to where it appeals more to the target audience, such as in Saudi Arabia, in United Arab Emirates, in Kuwait. All of these destinations, they have found the north coast of Egypt as a new trending destination, and they want to experience it. And thank God we have the right facilities there. They go, they experience it, and then they come back every year. And this is happening since COVID have subsided.
Yes, Doctor, do you think that we need to be presenting the new Alamain city and all the new cities that we have built under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the past 10 or 11 years as environmentally friendly as well? Because this will be getting more investments into the green economy, as we have seen this term during the COP27 that was held here in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Of course, we have to understand that this is not only applicable on Al Alamein on North Coast, it's also applicable on every touristic destination in Egypt.
Yes.
Speaking about green tourism and green practices and going towards net zero target in 2050. The whole world is reaching out towards this target. Every country has what is called an NDC. An NDC is the national commitment, almost a national commitment to reducing carbon emissions and the carbon footprint. Egypt right now stands at 0.64, which is a very low carbon print.
Yes.
But on the same time, we are committed as much as our powerful existence as a leading country in Africa with the number of carbon reduction that we need to do, whether it's coming from transportation, coming from oil and gas, or coming from electricity. So our commitment is nearly like 40% or 35%, I think, of carbon reduction. That means that not only in tourism, but the entire country will have to adopt new renewable energy, will have to adopt practices in saving in reducing carbon emissions, in carbon mitigation. All of these things will have to be applied in any destination that is consumption or higher consumption in electricity, for example. If you find areas there, for example, I'll give you an example. If you find what we can do is that we can train hotels to use alternative ways of electricity. Instead of having electricity directly from the grid, they can also have their own solar or photovoltaic. That we can reduce their dependence on fuel, that traditional fuel, but also we can have them using LNG or using photovoltaic, which is solar energy. Or because of Al Alamein area and the North Coast area, they have a wonderful wind capabilities. We can have like little wind turbines in there in the same area, which sometimes can reach 9 or 10 in terms of wind speed. So there is a lot of different ways we can train these different facilities to use renewable energy, and thus contributing and lowering the carbon footprint and different practices of saving water, different practices of forestation in the area. The area is always the backside of the area is always of the North Coast is desert.
Yes.
So forestation in the area would also reduce carbon, or do what we call a carbon offset, and that's a very important thing. That's what's actually coming until 2035. That's what's coming, the green tourism and the green practices in reducing carbon footprint, especially in the tourism industry.
Yes, Doctor, you mentioned as well that for Al Alamein city, for the new Al Alamein city, it is kind of a seasonal tourism. The summer vacation could be spent there, more specifically for the summer. The concerts, the football matches, all of this that we have seen over the past month and until the end of August as well. But what is the other strategy of promoting tourism for the other governorates, especially that we have a new cabinet with a new Minister of Tourism, in your opinion?
The trend or the aim right now is coming is to have these destinations working all year round, okay? And this is exactly what we're aiming right now. You think of all of these investments, a lot of investors are investing in the city so that they can have it working all year round.
Yes.
And this is the main, I think this is the main target of having cabinet convening in Al Alamein all the time, of having government meetings, of having also presidential palace. It's in order to make the entire city and the entire area working all year round.
Yes.
And I think it's a very smart plan. I think it also addresses the right audience, whether it's in Europe or in North America or whether it's in the GCC area, of telling them that we have premier tourism destinations that are far more warmer than the other destinations in the North Mediterranean.
Yes.
Which means that we have a touristic product that can survive the entire year, and it can be reachable from any place around the world once we put it on the right marketing plan, once we promote it correctly. Deliver a marketing message that matches what the people will be able to find, so that people can have a retention, they can come back to you again. And I think we've done a very successful positioning in the last 3 or 4 years. It's about time right now is to start to keep it alive throughout the year by giving the right incentives. And I think a number of investors just last week, they put out statements that they're going to put incentives to local audience and international audience, so that people can always come back to this destination and can work all year round.
Yes, Dr. Alaa Khalifa, the international tourism marketing expert, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
You're welcome.
Anytime.
It's a pleasure.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. However, I will be leaving you with the last report for the episode for tonight, which is focusing on one of the statements made by the World Tourism and Travel Council, saying that tourism for Egypt will be garnering about 8.1% of the gross domestic product in 2024. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.